Hey, everybody, this is Chad Shapiro, pastor of Connect Digital Church, and I'm thankful to be here on this recording of the Digital Dive with Eric Hilgers, and we have incredible leader that is just so fortunate to be with us, Albert Diaz, as well, who's going to be covering some amazing things about how to get us up and running. We want to talk about baby steps, really baby steps. There's so many different titles we have, but we talked about bunts versus home runs, because I think sometimes, especially digitally, we think about, can I keep up with these big guys? And how am I ever going to get started? And we want to be able to make sure that we don't get overwhelmed in this stuff, that a little church planner like me, churches that are maybe behind in the digital age that have been around for a long time, but maybe not flowing digitally as much as they want to, that they can start off with baby steps. So we want to turn it right over to Albert as fast as we can to be able to talk about some of these key things. We're going to jump in periodically on this topic with Albert, but really that's the whole idea, is to give you guys some really basic stuff that we can go. And Albert, you've been doing this on behalf of SABA for years, helping so many churches of the association. And I know that's a big goal of ours in the future here, is to be able to connect and support the association churches. So I'm so excited about this topic and everything you do every single day. We appreciate you.
Oh, awesome. Thank you, Chad. Thank you for that. That's our mission statement, to connect, support, and encourage churches for kingdom impact. And that's really what we do, and what we do well. This whole digital movement and COVID has kind of pushed us into this, but it's amazing to be able to now help churches digitally, which is something that I love to do just on my own time. So it's really more of a love of work for me. So I love this stuff. But what we're talking about today, the bunts versus home runs, is that, Chad, you're absolutely right. It's intimidating, especially if you look at somebody's stream. You pull up, YouTube churches, and you're going to see all these really big streams and these huge auditoriums and all this production, and you're wondering, like, wow, we could never do that. Or you put up, what do I need to stream? And you're going to get 50 websites. It's kind of like if you have, you don't feel well and you look up WebMD, and then you find out that you're dying of like 15 different things, but really you just have a sore throat because, you drank an icy last night or something. But that's really what it is. So we don't have to be intimidated by it, because there's actually some steps we can take that can get us into the game. So we're talking about a bunt here. We're talking about what's going to get us just up and running. And then we not only up and running, but things that we can build on. So for, like, say, a live stream, it's easy to use our phone and then record right off of here. And you could record it, and you're going to get a decent picture, but the audio is going to be it's going to be terrible unless the camera or the phone is being recorded right in front of you. So one suggestion would be to buy an inexpensive camcorder, just a little handheld camcorder and a decent tripod. Now, the reason you want a decent tripod is because the little cheap ones that cost $20, $30, when you move them, they're gonna shimmy. Mm-hmm. So if you're moving on stage, say you have somebody singing, and then you're gonna move over to the pastor, if it's a cheap one, you're gonna get a shot going like that all the way across. Mm-hmm. And Eric Hilgers can talk about this because he does a lot of video. Yeah. So a smooth transition where it'll just move over nicely.
You call it the digital shimmy, or what?
Digital shimmy, that's what you can call it.
Yeah, you want to get like a $60 to $80 tripod, and preferably the metal ones, because if they're plastic, they're going to snap in half. The head's going to break. But you want to get one that has that metal frame at the top, to where it's that nice, smooth, like a nice oiled machine right there. So yes, there's a little bit of an investment, $60, $80, but they're on Amazon. You can get them, and they work like they last forever. So.
And again, as you upgrade your camera systems, and as systems get upgraded further on, that's something that you're going to spend $60 now, but that may last you for the next 4 or 5 years, mm-hmm. because you're not going to be using it a lot. It's going to be stationary. You're not taking it up and moving it around and taking it out in the field with you like a photographer would. Mm-hmm. So that's part number one. Now you have something steady. So you have a steady platform. So now, how do we get the video? This is what I was talking about with a camcorder. You can get them on Amazon for a few $100s. And again, I know that's a little bit of an investment, but it's an investment that's worth it, because with a little camcorder, you can do so much and you can build on that. So that can become an integral part of your system, a year down the road. And even if that camera was to be upgraded, everything else is just going to plug right into it. Now, one of the things that we're going to ask about or you're going to think about is, well, what kind of camera? What camera should I buy? And when you pull up video cameras, you're going to see a whole spectrum, and you're going to see some cameras from $40, $50 all the way up to multiple thousands. And again, this is something that Eric can chime in on because he knows the spectrum where you can get from the very basic to the ultra professional. But one of the things that we can look at that can really help to limit how many options you have and how many things you have to look at is the resolution. There's different types of resolution. You have what's called 720p, 1080p, or 4K. All that really means is how many pixels are in the screen. So you have your width and your height. So 780 is just telling you that it's 780 pixels from top to bottom. 1080, it's 1080 pixels from top to bottom. 4K, it's 4000, 8K, and so on. But the thing is, a lot of people will say, oh, we need a 4K camera because that's the best there is. Or we need an 8K camera, we need this. But what we have to realize is that when we do stream our services, first of all, it uses bandwidth. So if you're trying to stream a 4K signal, you're going to need a very high internet speed. Plus, once it gets to Facebook or YouTube or even Zoom or Vimeo, it's going to get dropped down to 1080 unless you pay for the big expensive package and stream it at 4K. But then if you do that, now your congregation has the problem that if they don't have a very fast internet speed, they're not going to be able to see you, or they're going to be getting very spotty transmission. So those are some of the things that we just need to take in consideration. Not only what we're putting out, but what can the people actually receive. So if we have an older member that may not have a really fast internet speed, is he or she going to be able to watch it, or is it going to be jerky and the audio coming in and out? And we say, oh, we're putting out a great product, but some of our people aren't able to watch it. So there's little things like that we can work with, but the camera is the main one. Eric, I'd like you to maybe talk a little bit about video cameras and the different types that there are. And also one of the important things, and Eric again can key in on this more than I know, is zoom, the auto zoom and autofocus.
Mm-hmm.
We were at a church, Eric and I, a couple weeks ago, and they had bought a camera, but it wasn't working for them. They had to buy another one because it didn't have autofocus.
Mm-hmm.
They bought a very inexpensive camera that you actually had to manual focus. Well, that doesn't work if the pastor's moving around, because then somebody has to physically be there focusing. So for $30 more, they could have had a camera that had autofocus, which is what they ended up having to go back and rebuy. So just little questions like this and are things that we can help you with. We can help our churches with. Eric's available, I'm available, Chad's available. We'll make him pick up the phones, and we can definitely help with that.
Question.
Yes, sir.
From so if you use your phone, right, to go Facebook Live, on your phone, do these cameras go Facebook Live? I mean, do they have an internet connection, or how am I doing that? Am I running the camera through a computer? Like if because a lot of the people that use, like me, that use our phone, that might be a question they have.
Okay, that's actually an awesome question. And what's really cool is that the cameras that are coming out now can actually stream directly to Facebook or YouTube. And it's all built into the camcorder. Now we can build on that, because if you get one that can stream just to Facebook, okay, well now you have your video and your audio coming out of that camera. Your audio is not going to be too good though, because that microphone on the camera is not a very good microphone. So you really want to have, if that's what you're using, I'm not saying don't use it, but if you are using that, unzoom it as much as you can and bring the camera right up to your face. Put the camera right in front of the pulpit, as close to the pastor as possible, so you can capture the voice that's coming out. You really want to capture his voice and not the voice that's coming from the speakers, because that's going to echo and it's going to cause some noises in there. So great question, Chad.
could you possibly use an external wireless camera into one of those? Uh, I mean, a wireless adapter or something like that, where you have a little thing and a pack on the back, like, and plug it into the phone. I mean, just
Mhm.
plug it into the camera.
That's another very good question. There are some sets that actually will come with a lapel mic, a little wireless receiver, and a camera. It's like an interview set, and the camera will have instead of a microphone on it, it has a little receiver that you plug into it. Now, that's the very basic. Ideally, this is where you want to get. So we have our camera, we have our tripod, and what we want to do to get the best audio that we could possibly get is we want to grab audio from the soundboard because your soundboard is handling all of your sound. So everything that you're saying through the microphones, everything the musicians are singing and playing through their instruments is going through the board. So if you can pull audio directly from there, it's like having the hose right in your hand
Right.
because you're getting a pure stream of audio. So what's really cool about these cameras as well is there's some very inexpensive devices. One of them is made by Elgato, and then the other one is called what is it, Eric? Blackmagic?
Black Magic, yep. Mhm.
Blackmagic's the other one. So both of these sell the small component. It's a little box. Of course, it's not a phone, but it has a couple of plugs in it. One of them that we saw the other day actually had four plugs, four HDMI in plugs, and an audio in, and then one media out. So what's really cool about those boxes, especially the Blackmagic, you plug your camera into that box, you plug the audio, and the easiest way, this isn't the way you really should do it, but even if you just want to get audio, you can use the headphone jack from your soundboard because that projects all the channels. You can actually just run a headphone jack out and into this little unit that'll combine your audio and video and input it into a laptop just like a web camera. So really what that box does is it'll convert an actual camera and microphones into like a little webcam, like a little Logitech webcam that you would put over your computer. But now you have this big system.
That's
So this is all very inexpensive. You could probably do this entire setup for less than $1,000.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thanks, Albert. Man, that's some serious great stuff. What would you have to add? Some of the questions he was throwing at you, Eric.
Man, trying to think question wise. I think you covered a lot of, I mean, pretty much everything for streaming. I'm thinking for cameras. I mean, um, yeah. What would you recommend, Albert? Like the just like starting off camera wise, like so just like a $100 camera or like a.
Yeah, I think if looking at them, I would probably spend about $250,
Mm,
and that like again, I said that's a little bit of an investment, but it's something that you're going to be able to grow into. You don't want to spend $100 and then have something that you're already kind of topped out at. So if you do add some of these other components, now you have to buy another camera.
mhm,
I would prefer to buy one component and have to wait 2 months to get the next component than buy components that are only going to last me for a year. And especially when it's our church, because we want to be we want to be good stewards of the funds that are coming in because they're tithes and offerings. But we also want part of that stewardship is buying things that are going to have longevity and are going to be able to be used for longer. So sometimes that initial investment is well worth it. The church that Eric and I were at, they had some great equipment and they had gotten some donated to them. They had bought several things, and they were getting the beginning of a great setup, and they hadn't spent a lot of money.
Mhm.
So those are other things. We have social media is a great tool you could put out there. Hey, anybody have any extra audio equipment? Anybody have an extra camera? There's places that have upgraded their cameras, and their old cameras are just sitting in a storage room somewhere. And those cameras, where while they've upgraded theirs, it might work perfectly for us or for your congregation. So those are things like that. And if we come across stuff, which we do occasionally here at the association, we'll put it out on our social media that if there's a need, or we'll start asking around, hey, we found some speakers, or we have a soundboard, or we have, this type of equipment. Um, and we would gladly help to get have one church help out another church, or even if we could help out in any way we can. That's what we're here for.
mhm,
Our association exists to support our churches. The reason that we're here is because of y'all. So, our job is to help you, basically. We work for you. And there's some good starting points we can get to. Like I said, Eric and I are available. You can contact us at media@sanantoniobaptist.org, and we'll gladly answer questions. We can set up a time for a consult. We can set up a time to sit down and talk. Eric's a video genius. He can help you with software as far as editing software. Oh, we had talked about that earlier, Eric, on some of this. If you wanted to, say, put a little introduction into your video and a little exit into the video, or maybe mess with the sound a little bit, or run like a preset filter just to balance out your sound. What are some choices for that, Eric?
Hey, how about we save that for next time?
Oh, good thing.
Come back next week. But before we let you go, what Albert just covered, so powerful. But really, with this digital dive and utilizing sabaradio.org, if you haven't got a chance to get over there, get over there, sabaradio.org. All the stuff that we're starting to do at SABA, which is thanks to Dr. Horn and his amazing leadership. I love the idea of getting your old stuff, letting us know what you've got, and like Albert just threw out there, because we can be the hub for all these great churches throughout San Antonio to kind of be able to support you, support somebody else, whatever we may need. So let's continue to work through that. But don't miss next week. Albert did a great job of teasing it out what Eric's going to be covering. So you need to be able to get back here next week on the digital dive. We're talking about bunts to home runs and making it happen for your church. So God bless you guys. We'll see you soon. Take care.
Take care. God bless y'all.
Bless.